What if I told you that the bases you see here were based using only raw materials found in nature? Not only does it create a realistic piece, but it's also completely free. Let me show you how it's done. The first item we need is sand. Do note that there are different sorts of sand available. In this video, however, we will be using whitewashed sand, dug up from an old overgrown sand pit. We will store it in a resealable plastic container for now, as we look for the next material. And that material is gravel. These tiny rock fragments come in different sizes and are perfect for miniatures, as they will make for great boulders or mountainous areas. For now, the gravel too will be stored in a plastic container and put aside for later. The final item might be a bit trickier to find, as they are seed pods from a birch tree. These little seedlings look a lot like dried leaves, which makes them ideal for autumn theme bases as well as forests. Cut off part of the twigs the pods are attached to as well, as we can use these for dead branches and such. Before we can use our materials, we will need to clean them first. For the sand, this means we have to bake it in the oven. Doing so will kill off any remaining bacteria and make the sand sterile. To get started, we cover our tray in some baking paper to protect it. Simply spread the sand out evenly over the baking tray next. Don't spread it too thick, or baking could take longer. For a bigger amount of sand, it would be better to split it up and bake separately. Now open the oven and put the baking tray with sand in. We will bake it for approximately 45 minutes at 150 degrees Celsius. Our gravel gets some attention too, but we only have to give it a wash to be used. We add a bit of dishwasher to the plastic container and fill it with warm water. This will get rid of all the dirt and bacteria, a bit like when you're doing dishes. Now we rinse them off a couple of times under the faucet and put them through a strainer to get rid of any leftover soap and dirt. We then lay them out on some paper towels to let them dry naturally. As both the sand and gravel are drying, let's have a close look at the leaves. What you want to do is separate the actual seeds, which look like small trident-shaped leaves from the rest of the pod. This can be quite a time-consuming process, as one pod can carry quite a lot of seeds. Good thing we have to wait for sand and rocks to dry anyway. Speaking of which, let's have a look at how they're doing. The sand is dried and is ready to be taken out of the oven, but we are not finished yet. We will move the sand from the tray back to its plastic container, but sift it through a small strainer as we do so. This will remove any unnecessary things such as roots or small rocks, leaving only the sand. This process was then repeated a couple of times, making sure nothing nasty was left behind. With both the sand and gravel now dry and clean, it is finally time to start decorating our bases. The rocks were glued down using superglue, as they're often uneven and too heavy for the PVA glue. You can always put a bit of milliput on the base first, which will anchor them better in place, but it won't be necessary. After giving the rest of the base a coat of PVA glue, the sand was then applied over the entirety of the base. One final piece of advice is that before you start painting, is to dust off the bases with a large brush. This will get rid of these small sand particles that did not get glued down. We don't want any sand in our paint pots after all. The painting step itself will be skipped for now, as this will be covered in depth in an upcoming video. We still have to decorate our bases with the seeds and twigs, however. The latter was glued down to the base in a small hole created by using a hand drill. This will make sure the twig stays in place and not fall over due to its tall and slender shape. The leaves, on the other hand, are a lot easier. Dip a small amount of PVA glue on the base using only the tip of your brush. Now simply lay one of the leaves on the glue and move it into place, careful not to damage or break it in the process. Repeat this a few times until you are satisfied with how it looks. Now let's have a look at the results, shall we? In the end, I went with 3 different style of bases. The first one being this mountainous or cave system-esque base, so very simple, just using sand and gravel and then painting it with different shades of gray, so very easy to do, but very effective. Of course, the forest base, which we have seen before a little bit. We have all the materials here, so sand, gravel, the seeds as well as some twigs. Now this one is a bit leveled as well if you put it sideways, because I did use some milliput to anchor the rock here in place and then spread it out over the base a bit more, so it will look a bit more realistic, but of course that's not a natural material, so shh. And then we also have this one right here, which is a beach or desert base if you like, which also just uses nothing but sand. So very, very effective in my opinion. And yeah, it looks very wonderful. That all being said, thank you so much for watching. I hope that this tutorial was useful to you. If it was, let me know in the comments down below and we will see each other in the next video. Take care everyone. Bye bye!